Welcome to the 26th episode of the BlueCollarBaddies podcast. This episode is sponsored by Outlaw Spray Foam, providing high-quality insulation services for the greater Oklahoma area for the past 8 years. Today we're here with Savannah, and tell me what you do.
I am an electrician, apprentice, so
Nice.
I'm in my second year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Good. How'd you get started?
Well, my family has kind of been doing trades for a while, and they kind of started with this company and built it up. And
Nice.
I actually was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years, and then, things went a little differently with that, so I had to step up, and so I said I want to go do the trades because my family's done the trades, and
Right. It's a good place to be.
It is. And I like working with my hands, and it's a good place for me, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
What specifically made you decide electrician?
Well, my dad, he's actually on the plumbing and the mechanical side, and has done that for over 30 years. And
Yeah.
At the time when I went to try to get hired on, there really wasn't a whole lot of females in the other trades, in that company, and I wanted to get started at that company. And he was like, well, there's a couple, female electricians, and I think you would like that. And it's very, you got to use your mind, and it's very, what's the word? You gotta have a lot of patience, I guess I should say, with certain things. And he said, I think you'll do really well with that. So I started with that, and I really wanted to do kind of like robotics, actually, but I just started with the electrical work and got in with that department. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. If you were to start again from the beginning and choose a different trade, what do you think it would have been?
Honestly, probably the same trade,
Yeah.
just because I like electrical work, from running the pipe to pulling the wire to laying in the wires, and
Nice.
if you're running racks and stuff, it's very you can just put in your earphones and just go. It's very symmetrical, and I like that. Nice. I'm very artsy. I've always been artsy, and finished products with running pipe and stuff is really amazing. When you see finished racks and electrical rooms, it's just I did that, so it's just really cool, and I just like that aspect. So
do you have trouble finding work clothes or boots, PPE?
Yes. I don't know, I've tried Carhartt, but I feel like I've always wore Wrangler jeans, and men's Wrangler jeans, not women's Wrangler jeans, because for whatever reason, the women's Wrangler jeans just do not last.
Yeah.
But I'll buy the men's Wrangler jeans, the thick,
Actual
George
jeans.
Strait style, and those will last wash to wash, and
Nice.
they're very durable. And then it's kind of hard, honestly, finding work attire that's comfy for bigger girls as well. So it's you gotta get up and down in ditches sometimes, or you just gotta be up and down on ladders, so you want something really comfortable. But I don't know, Wranglers are pretty comfortable for me at the moment. So
Nice.
But I do wish I could find a pair of jeans that has the carpentry pockets and stuff that I can carry my tools on, because I use just the tool belt right now, so a little miniature pouch. But something with pockets would be nice. That's comfortable. That's actually comfortable, and not for little girls. But I do struggle with that. But a lot of our PPE is also supplied, our safety glasses and vests and stuff, and shirts as well. Our company will provide the high vis shirts, and usually. But the pants is the thing that you struggle with the most, is trying to find something that's comfortable for your work.
For sure. Do you run it? You said you do work with a few other women?
With our company, there are, I think, 2 or 3 other women, but they are unfortunately on other job sites. I have worked with them, occasionally, they'll pull us off of one job and send us to another, if they need extra hands for a wire pull or running pipe or anything like that. And I've worked with one, and we're pretty good friends.
Nice.
We're both, pretty salty.
Yeah.
But as far as other females, though, I feel I do a lot of newer construction.
Okay.
So I do some remodels and stuff, but mainly new construction and industrial. I've noticed that there's a lot of female painters and stuff, like in the drywall and painting area. Like there's the job site I'm on now, there's several of them that are like insulators, painters,
cool.
Drywall. So yeah.
That's awesome. I'm an insulator.
Yeah. So I'm like, I have noticed an abundance of women in that.
Yeah.
But really it's either those or electricians. But as far as like plumbing and mechanical, or even the heavy equipment operators who are doing the dirt work outside, there's just not hardly. I haven't worked with one yet, so but I have noticed that there are more women coming about, so that's good.
Yeah. Especially in Oklahoma, I don't really run into a whole lot here.
Yeah, well, I don't really I live in Oklahoma, but like right on the edge.
Oh. Okay.
But I don't really work in Oklahoma very much. We do like Northwest Arkansas area. So right now I'm actually in Rogers.
Gotcha.
We're doing like tornado went through there, so we're actually doing a remodel and a little bit of new construction too. Yeah. So on an elementary or middle school. Yeah. So, but that area is just really booming. So I'd like to, like, once I get my license, I'll test out in Arkansas, and then I'll want to test out in Oklahoma and maybe like branch out towards the Tulsa area.
Oh yeah, nice. That's cool. Have you had a bunch of friction from the men on the job site?
Yes. Well, it's not really bad. A lot of the men that I have worked with, they are a lot like older and they're old school. Yeah. So they are actually not used to working with a woman, or they may have the mentality that trying to be more respectful, like women shouldn't carry this, women shouldn't do this. And I actually had worked underneath the journeyman once, and he was like that, very old school, very strict, and he wouldn't let me carry ladders, he wouldn't let me do this, and he was having the other apprentice do it. I was like a first year, like fresh out the gate, and I was like, no, I may be a girl, but I signed up for this. Like, I want to do this. Don't go easy on me. Like, if you ask Jose to do this, you should ask me to do this. Sure. And finally he was just like, well, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just trying to be respectful. I'm like, but I'm also an apprentice. Like, make me do the hard work. Like, I can lift, I can do all this stuff. Right. And that's really the only issue that I've come across is, them doubting your abilities. Yeah. Or something like that. There's only been a couple of times where, I am absolutely not strong enough to do something, and I'm just like, I'm upfront, like, hey, I can't do this. So I will have somebody else come help me. But as far as like friction, that's really just trying to get your respect. Right. It's a little bit more difficult, I feel like. And I haven't even been doing it that long, but I'm just like, I've noticed it's just a little harder, and it's, even harder at being like, first or second year apprentice. You're already at the bottom of the totem pole, so it is not easy. And I feel like, you may have to work a little harder being a woman just to prove yourself, but
for sure.
A little salty. Yeah.
Do you have any embarrassing job site stories you want to share?
I don't really have anything embarrassing.
That's fine.
Other than, like messing something up and you're like, I don't really want to go say something. Yeah. I don't know that I have anything super embarrassing other than your typical yet. Knock on wood. I try to avoid those, Here lately I've been working like in areas kind of by myself anyway. And so
nice.
Avoid those.
That's good. What is your absolute favorite thing about your job?
I just like, it's either between, pulling wire or running pipe. Yeah. Just because, like I said, it's very, the same thing over and over. Yeah, and it's satisfying. And like I said, it's one of those days if you have to run a lot of pipe or pull a lot of wire, it's just the same repetition, just over and over and over. So then, like I said, the day goes by much faster. Right. But I will say, like, times, like here lately, I've been learning how to read a lot of plans and prints. Oh, yeah. So, like, I go out there for dirt work, and once I, run all the PVC pipe for that, and we run it up into a transformer, it's really rewarding. Like, hey, like, I was, top dog on this or something, because right now it's just me and like a first year and we're running this, and it's real rewarding, I think. For sure. But I feel like those days when it's just really repetitive, I like that. I like
Yeah.
repetition. But it's hard to choose. There's just a lot of good things and bad things sometimes.
Right.
Some days you're running that big pipe and it just, especially in like remodels when there's already existing and you have to go around and it's just very frustrating.
I bet. What's been your biggest struggle?
You know, probably that, honestly. Making it look good, because when you go in there for a remodel or whatnot, you're at a certain level, and you want it to make it look good.
Right.
But when there's already sometimes trash,
Yeah.
you're like, who ran this? Who was the electrical company that come in and ran these pipes?
Right.
And it just looks trash. That's a struggle. Or a lot of times, I because I'm a woman, I get stuck with a lot of the things that require patience and to think about it, because I've even had my journeyman. I was like, why do you give me all this crap work, stuff that's like hard and I've got to like really think about it. He's like, because I don't have the patience for it and I know that you do. And I'm like, well, you're not wrong. So there's been several times where I've had to put in like TV boxes or something in concrete, and there is little to no error. Like you can't have a lot of error there.
Yeah.
So he's like, I know you have patience, so I give those to you. And those are the days that are really stressful, or like I struggle with those because it's very time consuming.
Right.
And it's just stress.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, I'm just a second here, but I feel like him trusting me to do certain things is
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's good though.
It is. It's good practice. It's good practice. But, yeah.
What's the one tool you couldn't live without?
Couldn't live without? I mean, I don't know. Probably the linemen's, because your linemen's, you use them for everything. Hammers, cutting, everything. Yeah. It's hard. There's like, a couple pliers that we can't live without. Like if you're not an electrician, if you don't have these, 4 sets of different pliers and strippers. So, but they have, some strippers that are kind of like linemen's, and they're just thicker at the end. So you can use those for anything, like a pretty good multi-tool. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like I didn't answer that very well.
No, you're good.
Probably those.
Yeah.
Or the channel locks. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. Do you have any like skincare or hair care tips, since we're always out in the dirt and all that stuff?
No.
No.
Well, I try to keep my hair, like right now it's down. Cannot. Like I have seen, of course they have different style jobs and stuff, and so they may not deal with dirt or dust or like concrete dust or anything.
Yeah.
Because man, if I am having to cut out concrete for any kind of cut-in box or TV box, my hair feels absolutely gross.
Yeah.
So, but I try to keep it braided and just back, just out of the way as much as I can. And I'll wear like headbands to try to keep everything pushed back. Or like a thicker headbands that are almost like a do-rag almost.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just kind of keep it controlled. And man,
For sure.
dry shampoo is my best friend.
Yeah.
But I just mainly try to keep it out of the way, because it's just, like you said, there's so much dirt sometimes and dust and grime, and it's kind of impossible.
For sure.
Yeah. And lotion.
Yeah.
Like face lotion. Because here this last week I've been outside doing a lot of dirt work, so the wind has not been my friend.
Awful.
Chapped. And dust in the eyes is like, man, even with safety glasses or anything, it's like Oklahoma and Arkansas dust.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's not fun. But yeah, I'm probably not the girliest one to ask that. But mainly just keep it braided or in a bun back out of the way, because I can't. Kudos to those girls who do keep it like this. Like, no way, I can't work with it like this. No.
Yeah.
I'd like to, but no, they just don't work that way sometimes. Especially long hair.
Yeah, for sure. If you had advice for someone who wants to be an electrician, what would you tell her?
Man, you gotta have a backbone for sure. Just because, like I said, and I feel like it's probably the same with any kind of blue-collar job. You just gotta have that backbone.
Yeah.
And don't let them walk all over you.
Right.
And it does help, like I said, to have kind of a little bit of a background, like with your family, because I actually had tried to, and this was several years before I got hired on, to apply for the same job, and I didn't get hired. But now I feel like companies are looking for more women because they're trying to be more inclusive.
Right.
And so if you're a lady looking to start in the trades, they're like, oh, come to us, you know, because they're just, you know, there's work. There's so much work, and they're looking for apprentices, and they're, you know, paying for the schooling, and it does help to get that foot in the door, but I feel like, you know, they are accepting a lot of people without experience. So.
Yeah. Do you have any like big future plans or goals?
Goals, mainly just trying to get my license, and, you know, I really want to kind of do something fun with it. Like, I've talked to a couple journeymen who have setups for movies or setups for concerts, you know, all of that. There's a process. There's an electrical process within that, and there are even some sets where there are all women workers, and that's kind of a interesting goal that I've been looking into. But really just trying to climb up higher. Like, I don't want to be a pipe runner my whole life. Like, I just, you know, I do want to climb up in the field and, you know, be running jobs or even be PM or a GC, you know. It just, I want to start with that good solid base, and I'm kind of starting late. Like I said, I'm 30, but I was a stay-at-home mama, and you know, she comes first. But that's really the goal, is just to climb up and, you know, do good for myself. And this is the first job, you know, that I've had that has the 401k, the good insurance. So I'm like, yes, secure the bag. But that's really the goal, is just to keep on climbing, get that license, you know, and maybe even get a master's license. So just so I can run jobs and stuff. But
that's awesome. Did I already ask you what you wanted to be when you were a kid?
No.
Okay, let me ask you.
Yeah. So, man, I have bounced around, because when I was younger, you know, I love art and music. Like, I actually play the piano, and that was originally my, you know, goal in life, was to become a musician. And I actually went to school a little bit for it at the U of A, and but it just kind of fell through. Like, it wasn't as good of a career as I wanted. Like, you know, it's very wish-washy, you know, it's not consistent like say a trade job would be. But that was really my dream, man. I love to sing and play the piano, and I played it since I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
you know?
me too.
So it's just been, you know, classical all the way to, you know, just anything, you know. And I kind of, cause just artsy, like, I thought about architecture, which is part of, you know, trade work. And but yeah, I just kind of bounced around and was unsure. And then my daughter, she actually has Down syndrome. And so whenever we were going through all of that, and I was 21, I kind of shifted, and I was like, well, you know, there's an opportunity here to become like an at-home nurse for her, because she has like heart problems and stuff, and to do her therapy. So I kind of went the nursing route for a little bit. Well, then COVID hit. And she's very immunocompromised, and it was right in the middle of my clinicals, and I just was like, no, you know, I just quit that. And then I was just, you know, taking care of her for a little bit, and then now it's like, you know, trade. So I'm like, I should have, you know, probably started out the gate doing trade work, so I'd be a little bit farther along in my job now. You know, because like, there are people that I've actually went to school with that are my boss, you know. It's like, I remember when you were like a freshman and I was way older than you. So but I do kind of wish that I, you know, made the decision, but nobody's perfect. You know,
I didn't start until I was 31. So.
So nobody's perfect, and I'm just glad that I did start it, though, just because there are so many different routes you can go and opportunities. And I've learned a lot, like, just with patience and reading plans, and just working with people and working with my hands. Like, I feel like that is my calling, is working with my hands. And my mom, she's always like, I took such good care of your hands and those piano fingers. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mom. But she's right. But, you know, I still dabble here and there with the piano, so that's still there.
All right. right, well, anything else you want to add? Shout out companies or anything like that?
Multicraft Contractors. That is the company that I work for. They're out of Springdale, but we've got a Springfield office and a Fort Smith office.
Nice.
Clearly my hat. We do the wholesale electric. That's one of our suppliers, and Elliott Electrical Supply is also some of our suppliers for our devices and pipe and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably it.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. All the links and products we mentioned today will be listed in the description. If you're a woman in a blue-collar industry and you're interested in being the focus of the next episode, or you're a small business that would like to sponsor an episode, reach out to us in the link below.